day to gather as a community and celebrate a place that holds such deep roots in our Brighton history, Mellus Hospital. So welcome to Mellus Hospital Heritage Day. Yay. My name is Karen Story, and I have the honor of serving as the president of the Greater Brighton Area Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today to honor the legacy of the historic space and look towards its future. So thank you. Today we are not only here to recognize the physical building, but we're here to honor the people whose lives were forever touched within these walls. We're here to celebrate those who were born here, those who began their journey of healing here, and also those who said goodbye to loved ones here. Mellus Hospital holds stories of joy, sorrow, strength, and compassion. And those stories are the heartbeat of our community. We also look forward to the future with hope and gratitude as we thank Trinity Health for their commitment to bringing new life and services to this location. We are thrilled that they will be opening here in spring of 2026, once again making this space of healing and care for our community. With that, I want to first and foremost thank all of you that are here. Thank you for making today possible. Your support brings events like this to life and preserves the powerful history we're here to celebrate. A special thank you to our Brighton Area Historical Society. When Jim showed up at my door, it was back in January, it was one of my first couple weeks, and he came in. Jim, where are you? He came in and he said, "Hey, I have a proposition for you." I'm like, "Okay." And we had just met. And Jim was like, "Listen, John Peters, who's over here, is a Mellus baby. He came up with this idea, hey, we need to have a Mellus reunion." So Jim came to my office and I'm like, let's do it, right? So this wonderful relationship between the Historical Society and the Chamber has evolved from this. So I just want to say thank you to our Historical Society for their passion and dedication to telling the story of Mellus Hospital and the place in Brighton's past. Your efforts ensure that these memories are never lost. So thank you to our Historical Society. If you could raise your hand. To my husband and my mother-in-law, thank you for your constant love and support in my family. To our chamber staff, our wonderful ambassadors, Michael Eaton was here this morning with me at 7 a.m., and our valued members, thank you for showing up together every day. Your dedication to our community is what makes it thrive. I'm going to introduce you, and I want to say thank you to our board. We have some of our board members here. If you'd raise your hand, board members. So thank you. Thank you for all of your support and continuing the legacy. I'm going to turn the speaker over here to Rob Johnson, who is the CEO of Wayne Media, but he's also acting in as our fractional CEO. We've had a little bit of a transition, a leadership change here, so I'm going to have Rob come up and he's going to honor our sponsors.
Nice catch.
You're not just good at speaking.
You must have recovered.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Thanks again for making the time to be here this morning. The first thing I want to do is thank Karen, and what I've called her as the architect of this event, championing it through the chamber, all of the board meetings over the last 6 months. So thank you, Karen. And then taking a look at our sponsors here, obviously John O'Malley, Trinity Health, major contributor and factor to this event, the Brighton Area Historical Society, McDonald's for the wonderful breakfast, and then Michelle Cousineau at Engrave It All USA. This event couldn't have been possible without all of those players being here and factoring into what we have here this morning. So thank you all for that. I've been a part of the Chamber for coming up on 5 years now, and it's events like these events that are deeply personal, these events that have a tremendous long-standing impact on the community that are important and necessary. for our community and for just really the greater good of all of the people that are associated with it. And it's exciting to see events like these that honor history, honor legacy, and I'm certainly honored to be a part of it today. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim Vicious. He is the past president of the Brighton Area Historical Society. Jim? Oh, yeah, one more.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to Karen. Just kidding.
So yes, okay, no, we're good.
One more person.
You're good, I promise.
I'm not a stationary talker. Can you hear me in the back row?
Yeah.
All right, what about over here? Okay. Good afternoon or good evening, good morning. My name's Jim Vitchick. I'm president of the Brighton Area Historical Society, former president, past president, okay? And I want to welcome everybody here and tell you how much we appreciate the effort that you made in getting here, because this is a significant event. Karen mentioned John Peters over there. John gave me a call last year, probably in spring of 24, saying, hey, how come we can't get together and have a party of everybody born at Mellus Hospital? And I said, I don't know why. That's a very good idea. And I said, I don't think we can make it happen in 24, but we'll be looking for it for 25. And so, John, great idea. Thank you for sharing that. This program, the first annual Heritage Day, will be continuing in future years. Today's exhibit, or today's program, is involved with an important building in Brighton, the Mellus Hospital. I want everybody to visualize living here back in the 30s. Farming community, just getting some new industry into the community. And you know what happened in farms? You know what happened in industry? People got hurt. This was a big deal for this community to have this hospital, have an x-ray machine for the community. And everybody that I've talked to that's a senior, and some that I've passed on, have said how important this building was in the past, because it was a way for people to get quick help, as opposed to driving to Howell or to Ann Arbor or to Pontiac. So it was very significant. So again, that's key, and we want to thank Dr. Mellus, who obviously had some good input on that. I also want to thank Nancy Fredberg. Nancy's our new president, and she and her team of volunteers put this all together. And Nancy will mention her team of volunteers in a little bit when she's speaking, but I just want to say that Nancy grabbed a hold of this, and with Karen, they put together a very nice program, and we have great speakers, great sponsor, but most important, we have great supporters in the community. Dr. Mellus got here in 1914. To give you an idea time-wise, he just got out of med school at the college, I think Detroit College of Medicine, and came to Brighton and established his practice. Now he took over the practice of Dr. Cohn, C-O-A-N, that had practiced for years in Brighton. Cohn retired, Mellus came in, and Mellus first had his home down on the corner of Main Street and Grand River, the southwest corner. And he started with a pharmacy there, because that gave him a way to get some additional income. And I believe his wife and he lived above the pharmacy until they were able to get a home. The first Mellus Hospital, now this may be news to many of you, this is not the original Mellus Hospital. It is the original building dedicated as a hospital, but the first Mellus Hospital was in a house just a stone's throw from here over on North Street. It was basically the second building off of Grand River on North Street. And where would that be today? Well, if you know where George Moses hangs his hat and has his printing business, it would be across the street from George Moses. That was the first hospital. And so that started in 1920. In 24, because he was running out of space, he bought this property here. It was a house. It was owned by a family named, help me here with my notes, Mrs. Merchant, Mrs. Ida Merchant. And she did tailoring from her house. But when Mellus bought it, he bought it for moving the office over here. Why did he need an office relocated? Because he's running out of space. Business was good. Farmers were getting hurt. Babies were getting born. All the life things of a city, okay? Well, in 31, he built this building over here. And as you can tell, it's a very nice, very attractive building. It's a building that I hope we see in Brighton for another 100 years. When you drive down Grand River, this is a very distinguished looking building on the hill. And it needs to stay that way. And I'm only speaking from history. As a history person and a person that loves Brighton, I want to see this building stay here, and I hope everybody here does also. Well, the new hospital opened in 31, and it had this piece of equipment that, you know what, if you put your arm on here and took a picture of it, it showed bones. How the heck did that work? And that was pretty important because it allowed the physicians, the doctors, the nurses to study the injuries that the people have and to take appropriate care, making it fixed. And so this hospital was pretty important for that. Well, Mellus, he died as a young man, I think he was 52 or so, of a heart attack when he was in Detroit in 1939. Sometime in the late 50s, if you look on the paperwork that you have, it'll say maybe it closed in 58. My notes say 57. Someplace else is probably 59. And if you know history, there's not a whole lot of dates that are really critical, but it closed in the late 50s. And after it closed, there was a new doctor that came in here. My understanding was a lady by the name of Dr. Van, and she purchased the building in about 58. And she ran it for maybe 4 years. And then the Presbyterian Church, which is the neighbor here, our great neighbor, decided to buy it and use it for offices as well as classrooms. In 2011, the Brighton Chamber of Commerce purchased it, and it looks great. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to the Board of Directors for your work in upkeep of the building. Don't let it go. I appreciate everybody's help, and let's support Preserve the Mellus Hospital. Although I know it's not going anyplace, but I just wanted to say that because I like to take a shot at history. So I'm going to turn the mic over now to Karen again, and thank you everybody. We appreciate your support.
Okay, so when Jim says don't let it go, I'm working with the Historical Society and our board for this building to become a historical landmark. So we are excited to partner with the state of Michigan so that we can make that happen. So rest assured, we're not letting it go, right? I would like to introduce to you John O'Malley. John, you want to come on up? John is the president of Trinity Health Livingston and Brighton Medical Center. And he's also a member of our Brighton Chamber Board of Directors. He came to Trinity in 2016, and he quickly became an active community member. John has played an integral role in bringing a new hospital to Livingston County, and deep in the throes of the construction and the planning for the hospital move. The new Trinity Health Livingston opens here in Brighton this April. Please join me in welcoming John O'Malley. I have to just say one thing. When Jim came to me with this idea and pitched it, I said, oh my gosh, we have to get Trinity on board. I'm like, John O'Malley will be all over this. And I have to tell you, he stepped right in and said, absolutely, we want to be a part of this. So I can't thank you enough, John. You stepped right in, and all of this, the tent, the tables, everything is because of Trinity Hospital. So I thank them so much.
Thank you, Karen. And thank you, Jim, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think, we clearly have to make sure we make this a historical landmark so that the history is preserved. Whoops. The history is preserved at this location, especially with what Dr. Mellus has created here. So thank you for that. So good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today and be joined by the Brighton Area Historical Society, the Greater Brighton Area Chamber of Commerce, and our community as we gather to celebrate the proud history of Mellus Hospital and the incredible legacy it has left in this community. This is a special day for me to have the opportunity to be here with you and to celebrate Mellus Hospital Heritage Day. I also want to thank Dave Llewellyn for attending today and sharing his personal connection and insights. I'm sure his remarks will highlight the deep roots Mellus Hospital has in our community. In 1931, at a time when Brighton was still a small but growing town, Dr. Horace Mellus constructed Mellus Hospital and opened its doors as the first hospital to serve the people of this community. The hospital stood as a symbol of progress and possibility, compassion and care for our community, ensuring that families in Brighton and the surrounding areas had access to health care they needed close to home. For generations, Mellus was more than just a hospital. It became a cornerstone of care, comfort, and compassion. In fact, Mellus Hospital was the first, and for many years, the only hospital serving all of Livingston County until McPherson Hospital opened, which, as many of you know, eventually became Trinity Health Livingston. Many of you here today may have been born at Mellus. Others may have worked here or had family members cared for within their walls. The impact of Mellus lives on through the thousands of lives it touched and the countless stories of healing, hope, and humanity that unfolded here. And while some say the old Mellus Hospital still has patients roaming the halls, what's undeniable is the enduring spirit of care that permeated its walls. Today, Trinity Health Livingston is not just honoring Mellus Hospital's rich legacy of service. We are building on it. We not only look back with gratitude, we look forward with excitement. Brighton's spirit of innovation and caring is alive and well, and it's leading us into the future. Just as Mellus Hospital did, Trinity Health Livingston is committed to providing exceptional health care close to home. How many of you heard me say local care local? That's what it's all about. Fostering connections and serving our community. We believe this enduring commitment to Brighton and the greater Livingston County community is exactly what Dr. Mellus envisioned. This commitment is perhaps most visible in the exciting new hospital that we're building right here in Brighton. This state-of-the-art Trinity Health Livingston facility, when complete, will sit on the same site as our current Trinity Health Medical Center in Brighton. It'll be attached to our Trinity Health Medical Center Brighton, and it'll offer an additional 174,000 square feet. It'll be a 4-story hospital that will open with 56 acuity adaptable beds, with future expansion to 96 beds for all conditions, and eight modern operating rooms, expandable to 10 for future growth. In addition to the latest imaging technology, ensuring that high quality, compassionate care will continue to thrive in this community for generations to come. But this isn't just another construction project. It's a $238 million investment in the health and well-being of our community. It represents our ongoing commitment to serving this community with excellence, to advancing healthcare with the latest medical technology, and to honoring the legacy that Mellus Hospital began nearly a century ago. It is being constructed to ensure that the residents of Livingston County have access to safe, high-quality medical care for generations to come. Mellus Hospital laid the groundwork. Today, Trinity Health continues that journey. As we build this new chapter, we carry with us the values that made Mellus Hospital so special. A dedication to our patients, a deep respect for our caregivers, and a shared belief that healthcare is not just about treating illness, it's about supporting the entire community. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as Trinity Health Livingston's core values of reverence, commitment to those experiencing poverty, safety, justice, stewardship, and integrity, in addition to a vision that we will be the most trusted health partner for life, helps us carry on this tradition. And our promise is we listen, we partner, and we make it easy. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today to celebrate our community's rich history. On behalf of Trinity Health Livingston, our doctors, nurses, and support staff working inside Trinity Health Livingston and the Trinity Health Medical Center Brighton, I want to thank all of you, our friends, our neighbors, and our partners for the role you play in making this vision a reality. Together, we are building a future that reflects the heart of this community while never forgetting the foundation that was laid so many years ago at Mellus Hospital. We are proud to continue Mellus Hospital's tradition of care and remain dedicated to serving you all, and I look forward to seeing all that we can accomplish together in the years ahead. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, John. What a wonderful speech. I'd like to introduce to you Nancy Fredenberg. She is the president of the Brighton Area Historical Society and has been an amazing partner in crime, and she's gonna talk and then introduce our next speaker.
Yes, I'm Nancy Fredenberg, current president of the Brighton Area Historical Society. We were just very pleased when this event came to us, and we co-partnered with the Chamber and with John O'Malley and his team at Trinity Health. Just as a FYI, I have currently been going under cancer treatments. They've all been at Trinity Health, and I can't say better things about their facilities right at this time. So, it can only get bigger and better for all of us here in the community, so I just thought that was important to make that announcement. So first and foremost, before I introduce my good friend, I wanted to thank our volunteers and especially to Karen Story. She was carried the heavy weight in this whole project, but if you want to stand up or just wave your hand, we have Jerry and Carol Damon, Tony Ferrari, Ron Sear, Mindy Kinsey, Lynn Strong, Jim Vitchick, and myself, of course, that was doing that. So, but I was so excited when this first came to us, and I immediately went to Dave Llewellyn, because I knew he was born here. Well, he happens to be my classmate from the class of 1975 for Brighton High School. We just completed our 50th reunion, so we did recently celebrate that. But Dave immediately, once he had the date open, agreed to come. So he was born here, along with his two sisters, Becky and Nancy. Were both born here along with Dave. Patty, unfortunately, the youngest, this was already closed, so Patty was at a different hospital. So, but from early on, knowing Dave, he was a great student, he was a good athlete, but early on he had a passion for media communication. He was the editor of our BHS Times, along with our Brighton yearbook. So he did both duties under Mr. Petrie, a favorite teacher of ours, and so early on, Dave followed his passion, went to Central in communications, and then from there we followed his career path being a Brighton kid, local, making it to Channel 7 on the main desk. So without further ado, let's hear from Dave, and he has some wonderful stories to share with us. So.
Fred, thanks. She's Fred to us. Always has been, always will be, right? So thank you for that. It's great to be here. Welcome to each and every one of you. Thanks for coming out. We've got a beautiful day. Jim Campbell's over there. He's one of the ambassadors. Campy, great to see you over here as well. And other friends and fellow Mellus babies. It's really great to be here to celebrate this event, recognizing the hospital housed in this building from its opening in 1931 through the late 50s. And again, I was invited, thanks Nance, because I was a Mellus baby born in this building on January 3rd, 1957. And as Nancy mentioned, two of my, I need that back though. Two of my three sisters were also Mellus babies, as Nancy mentioned, born before me. They are here with us today as well. I want to recognize my sister Becky, who traveled back from her home in Florida for this event, as well as her high school reunion activities this weekend. Becky's over here. And also Sister Nancy, who remains a Livingston County resident. She too is a Mellus baby, and it's great to have both of them here today. So, I can't say I remember the experience, but everything apparently turned out okay for me, and certainly for my sisters. And how fortunate that our small town had a local hospital that served families and communities. And I say small town, and that's been mentioned several times here, because the Brighton of today was not the town we grew up in. Times change and growth was inevitable, and hey, when you've got a good thing going, you can't blame others for wanting to be a part of it as well. But on the subject of changing times, and noteworthy for this audience, Fred, I need that. Nancy came across this while going through some of the items my late mother had saved, our late mother had saved. This is the original bill my parents received from Mellus Hospital for my birth. And again, talk about things being different. It was a 5-day stay for my mom in this hospital. Wow. At the cost of $17 a day for a total of $75. The delivery room charge was $30. Drugs and supplies, $21. Dr. A.J. McGregor's professional services, delivery, $75. There were a couple of other items as well. The grand total, $244 for my birth. And if I read this correctly, $201.50 of that was covered by Blue Cross, leaving my parents with a balance of $42.50. Now, that's pretty incredible when you compare that to the cost of health care and hospital stays today. And John, I'm sure you're going to make sure that the new hospital is in line, right, with those costs. But again, I mentioned the times were much different then. I commend the Brighton Area Historical Society for holding this event and for its efforts in spotlighting Brighton's history and celebrating the people who made a positive impact on life here. And thanks again to Nancy Fredenberg for inviting me to be a part of this. And let's all thank her for all of the work that she has done over the years with the Historical Society, but also the Brighton High School Alumni Association. She is an incredible giver of her time and talents, and we are so blessed, all of us, for all of the hours that she puts in and for her continued leadership on these organizations. So, round of applause. Greg, you deserve it. As well as the others putting on this event today. And again, I'm thrilled to be here. Nancy mentioned too, just last month, our Brighton High School class of 75 celebrated its 50th reunion weekend. And Nancy Fredenberg was the driving force in making sure that was fun and successful for all of us. It's great to see so many of our classmates. A few of our teachers came back, some of our coaches as well, sharing memories of the good old days for us all those decades ago. Just a few reflections on growing up in Brighton and how family, friends, and community helped shape the person I am today, and my sisters as well. We grew up in a small house on 5th Street, which was expanded as our family grew. The Leith family was down the street on 5th Street. Terry Leith is here. Terry Leith Fisher is here with us today as well. The Colletts were down a bit from them. The Schmidts lived on State Street, a block over. And further upstate, it was the Bancos and Tomlinsons and Lawsons were just over from there. It was a great neighborhood for a kid to grow up in. And as kids, we felt safe, and we were. We'd take off on our bikes, and we could be gone, and usually were, hours at a time. I wasn't very good, my sisters will tell you, because my mom certainly said it a lot. She didn't know where I was most of the time, but she could always count on me being back in time for lunch and supper. So that was what was most important to me. Sister Nancy remembers all the kids meeting at our house and on so many summer nights playing the game Ghosts in the Graveyard, if you're familiar or remember that game, with the big maple tree in our front yard being the safe spot. Those were good times. West Elementary, which later became Lindbaum Elementary, was right behind our house. There was room for a baseball diamond there, and we spent hours and hours as kids playing our games. My sister Becky says those games with the neighborhood kids is one of the enduring memories of childhood for her. She also hit the ball farther than any of us at that time, so it's no surprise that she remembers it. And we learned how to play baseball correctly from Mr. Scranton. Robert L. Scranton was a one-man recreation department when we were kids. He taught us baseball. We also learned to swim under his direction at Briggs Lake. If some of the rest of you maybe also learned to swim there and remember that. And of course, he was our principal of the junior high, later middle school for years, and made a positive impact on so many of us growing up. In my view, he was definitely one of Brighton's all-time best in terms of the impact he made. Mr. Scranton was a close friend of my dad, our dad, and his best friend, Don Luker, and both men were on hand for the Mass and reception when my wife, Sandy, and I were married 44 years ago next month. Sandy's here with us today as well, putting up with one more talk that I give, and there have been a bunch of those over the last couple of years, so thank you for your patience. We all had favorite teachers growing up, right? My all-time favorite was Mrs. Penny, my kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Selman was my second grade teacher. She was pretty great too. In high school, Mr. Schreer introduced me to forensics and writing and performing radio copy. Dick Petrie, as Nancy mentioned, taught journalism and was advisor for the student newspaper in Yearbook. His guidance and support helped take my interest in media, studying and pursuing that to another level. I want to recognize a couple of the coaches too that played important roles in school as well. Ken Jockery and Duke Williams early on for sure. Also Doug Phelan, and in high school Larry Mason, our basketball coach. It was great to see some of them, Doug Phelan, Larry Mason in particular, at our reunion. And certainly I have to mention Mark Carroll, the Hall of Fame baseball coach in Brighton, who changed the culture of the program, created expectations for us on the field, and held us accountable to those expectations of his. We had some success on the baseball field, not a lot in football, not a lot in basketball in those days. Things have changed in a much more positive way since those days. But what Mark Carroll helped start really changed the culture, and the winning has followed with Brighton baseball in particular, but all sports now for years and years since then. On a day like this, an awful lot of memories come flooding back for me and perhaps for all of you as well. But, I was born in this hospital, lucky to have grown up in a very, very special community, Brighton, which will always be my hometown. A number of years back in my reporting for Channel 7, I met with a state legislator in the front of this building for an interview on a topic that I have no recollection of now. But once that was over, I was given a brief tour of the hospital, and saw what was the delivery room back then. After this event, if you venture inside, there's a wonderful display with hospital mementos and photos and newspaper articles, including a picture of my sister Becky, who was in my mother's arms, which to this point is the only photograph that we have from inside the hospital with a newborn. And that was my mother and Becky in her arms. So that's pretty cool. That's part of the exhibit and display inside. So I hope you'll have an opportunity, in addition to the tour, to take a look at that exhibit as well. Certainly the building's interior has changed over the decades, as well as its ownership and the tenants inside this building. But I think it's really cool to recognize the important role this local hospital played for decades in the life and health of our town. Always great to be back in Brighton, and it's wonderful to be able to share just a few reflections and memories that I have. And again, so appreciative of Nancy for the invitation to be part of this, to meet John and Jim, and to see Karen again. And thank all of you for turning out today to mark this very, very special Heritage Day in Brighton. And I do encourage all of you who are able to take a tour inside and learn a little bit more about the history and check out that exhibit as well. So thank you all for being part of this. Thank you for turning out and supporting this event, and your continued support for the community that we all love, Brighton. Not such a small town anymore, but still a special place.
Thank you, Dave. That was wonderful. We're just going to close here. Just a couple things Nancy and I'd like to share. First of all, we want to say one more time thank you. If you are a Mellus baby and you were born here, would you raise your hand for us? Oh, wow. Look at all these Mellus babies. Oh my goodness. If you had a relative or somebody that served here as far as a nurse or, in any capacity, could you raise your hand? I know we had a couple that said their moms were nurses. Yes. Wonderful. And anybody else we may be forgetting? Maybe you lost a loved one here. Your mom or your dad were born here. Would you please raise your hand as well? Thank you. We cannot tell you enough. We appreciate you. This day really is about you, Mellus babies, and the Mellus family. So we just want to say thank you again. Nancy and I have just a couple closing of how we're going to continue the morning here. Breakfast, please help yourself to food. But Nancy will go over the rest of the agenda for you and closing comments.
All right, well, one thing we want to make sure all of the Mellus people that were born here will receive a free ornament. Michelle from Engrave USA is inside. You'll write your name down in your year of birth and then give her a few minutes to get that done. So if you hadn't done that yet, then please go in there and get your name in so she can be working on that for us. For other people that would like to buy an ornament, those will be $10. But we've got a supply. They really turned out beautiful with the picture and so forth. But we are engraving for the Mellus babies that were born here. So, and then we do have the exhibit open inside, and then we are leading some tours. So if you're interested in tour, we have Philip Smith and Jim Vitchick, and we do have some backup people should we need it. The building is quite small, so we'll work out the angles as we see how many people want to hear a little bit more of the story. Jim, Karen, anything we're forgetting?
Nope. The ornaments are beautiful. It has a little Trinity health, a little charm on it too, and it's a beautiful momentum that you can put on your Christmas tree and remember this event. So thank you. And I just want to do one last shout out to Pam McConaughey. She was our former CEO. She just retired. So thank you, Pam, for coming. The beautiful smile.